Very well. Now that I have a theater space to work in, I'm going to start developing some lighting positions in here. I'm going to get into the correct layer this time. All right, so we're going to go from the instruments down into positions. All right, and you'll see something changed about um, our theater space. And I'm going to make my first lighting position with the double line tool. Right? So I'm going to come over here to the double line tool, select that. My separation on that right here in the attribute ribbon is going to be 2 inches instead of 3/4 inches. All right, 2 inches. That's the width of a piece of Schedule 40 black steel pipe. I'm going to click return. And now I've got this tool and I can click, drag to the right, and I'm going to give it a very specific length. I'm going to know that it's wider than my 40-foot proscenium. I'm just going to make up something for all of us here. We're going to say that it goes 10 feet off into the wings on either side of the proscenium arch. Kind of an ideal. Sometimes they don't go quite so far. Over in Fisher Auditorium they don't. But let's call it 60 feet. Return. Return again. Now I'm going to X back to my select tool here, and I'm going to hover over the center handle until I get that plus sign, right? We don't want the slash sign. That will change the shape of the object. We want the X or the cross sign. That will allow me to click, drag that to the origin point, and release it there. Now I'm going to know some things about my lighting positions based on the architecture. I can measure it and I can say, oh, this first electric is 1 foot 6 inches upstage. And remember that the audience is always at the bottom of the screen. 1 foot 6 inches upstage. So I'm going to Control M to get my move selection here. I can also go to the Edit pull-down menu and get that same thing. Okay, X you'll remember is right and left. Y is up and down. In this case, I want to go 1 foot 6 inches in the positive Y direction with this object that I've selected, and click OK. That's where it's going to be in the world. Now, the next thing that I need to do with this to create a lighting position is I need to I need to convert it. But I'm not going to do that quite yet because it's going to ask me to label it when I convert it, and then it's going to be that thing always. Instead, I'm going to duplicate it a few times for my other lighting positions. I'm going to Control D, which will duplicate the object, and then I'm going to, I'll show you on the Edit tool this time. I'm going to and it wasn't the Edit tool, it's the Move tool. Brian, I'm going to move that object. Let's say that we know that there's 6 feet between our lighting positions. So I'm going to move that 6 feet upstage. And then let's say I'm going to duplicate that again, Control M to move it. And let's say the next one is at maybe 10 feet upstage of that. Wouldn't be unusual. And then let's duplicate that again. Let's move it another 6 feet. Give ourselves lots of room. We get to create our ideal theater space here and move that up to where it can be shining on a cyclorama or something. Now we'll probably have a front of house lighting position too. And I'm just going to click on my first electric. I'm going to duplicate that again. I'm going to hold down my Shift key. Hold down my Shift. I'm going to click on it and then hold down my Shift key. And that will force the machine to drag it out parallel with on a straight line in a constrained way. Click it and release it. And this is going to be my first electric. Now that's my first beam position or front of house position. It's a pretty nice one. All right. So now what we want to do is convert these into lighting positions. And in order to convert these into lighting positions, I'm going to select one, and I'm going to go to my Spotlight pull-down menu. Click on Spotlight, come down to Object Conversion, and we can convert it to a lot of different things, but we want to convert it to a hanging position. Now, here we have an option. We're going to just convert the object. We can do some other things with it that are a little bit more complicated. So we're just going to convert the object, and then it says the selection contains only 2D geometry and may not display correctly in 3D views. Are you sure you want to create this hanging position? Yes, indeed I do. I'm going to name it my first electric. I'm going to use all caps because it's going to print that on my plot, and I want all caps on my plot. Click OK. I don't want to create a symbol. I could have done that and put it into my symbol library and reused it multiple places. We're not going to need to do that, but it's a powerful tool and you should know about it. So I'm going to click Use Geometry, and you'll notice that it says, oh, the first electric is right here. It labels it right there at the end. There's a way to move that label that we'll talk about later if we need to. I'm going to choose the second one. I'm going to pull down Spotlight. I'm going to Object Convert, Hanging Position, convert the object. Yes, 2D Geometry. I'm going to call it Second Elect. Click OK. Yes, I just want to use the geometry, and so on. I'm going to label the rest of these things, and then I'll come back to you to show you how to put lighting fixtures on your lighting positions. Thanks for paying attention.